Assalamu alaikum. This is Brandy and Steve at Kiss the Sky for our little thingy we called
Food for Thought.
Talk That Shit. We don't have a specific topic, just whatever comes to mind or what's going on in society, what we talk about.
Yeah, we just had some elections, huh?
Had some elections.
We had a Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, midterm elections.
Yeah, kids got off to go vote. Got off from school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now the midterm elections will determine who will have the majority in the House and who will have the majority up in the Senate. And from what I read, I guess they're still counting tickets and ballots and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of a. I think in the Senate, the Democrats have at least control if you consider that the tiebreaker resides with the Democrats. So the worst they could be is 50-50, and then the tiebreaker. But it's possible they could be 51-49.
Okay.
I think. Isn't that the Georgia?
Yes.
Possible runoff that's taking place.
Yep.
Herschel Walker and
like the Reverend.
Yeah.
What's up, Christy? So it's
Hi, Chrissy.
Herschel Walker and yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think Joe Biden should run again for the presidency?
You want my personal opinion on that?
I want you to talk that shit.
Okay, here you go. I think that at a certain point in time, well, let me say it this way. I think we need some youth throughout the entire world of politics and leadership and running things and making decisions, and it needs to be a lot more young people involved, I think. And at the top of the list of leadership, I think it would be nice if there was somebody that was closer, had their ears closer to the tracks and what's going on. And whether it be a Republican or a Democrat, that's irrespective of what I have to say. We need some young thinking and involved. Now, I'm not saying that he's done a good job, bad job, or whatever. If I was calling the shots, I would probably not push to have Biden as our Democratic candidate for the presidency.
Because the Democrats are losing a lot of voters.
And I would say the same thing about the Republicans as well. I mean, Republicans need to have a young person there. And at the end of the day, I'm not a follower of either party. I'm a follower of the person, individual, what they represent and what I think they could do. And over the course, see, I'm 70 years old, right? So I've been voting for about 50 years now. And when I was in college, I campaigned, worked on a campaign program for McGovern. So I have voted over the years Democrat, and I voted Republican as well. There were certain Republicans that I voted for. And whether that was the right thing to do or not, it was what I thought was the right thing to do at the time. A Republican that I voted for was Ronald Reagan. I thought he was the right guy for the job at that time. Now, his second term, I didn't think he was the right guy, but the first term I did. So, yeah, it's not the political party that I follow, and maybe that's maybe it's a minority.
Well, it's kind of, if you're voting for a person that's a Democrat or a Republican, you're still kind of voting for their ideology.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think you are. But the political party ideologies change over time, too. And I also think that the person who is running the show can have a major influence on that ideology.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole system needs to be broken down and redone, if you want to know my honest opinion. I don't like it the way it's working now.
I think a lot of people have given up faith in it, and that's why like a lot of people don't vote. And I don't even want to call it apathy. I just think a lot of young voters just look at it as a scam, and a lot of older voters just see it as things are just not going to change. You know, it's like, why would you vote for a system that you can't even really participate in? You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Or why would you vote for a system that you constantly see like corruption in it? You know, so I think a lot of people have just, hey, it is what it is.
Accepted it
And threw in the towel and probably trying to go like another way.
No, let's not do that. Let's not go there. Let's not throw the towel in. Let's change it.
I don't know, Steve. It might be time to let this motherfucker go. Just throw the towel in. It just might be time to be like, hey, look, we tried. It's kind of like a woman and a husband, or like you've been in a relationship and you've been trying, and all of a sudden, hey, this just ain't working. Like, we've been working at it, but it's not working. It's time that we separate on amicable terms, and you go your way and you go my way. Because when you try to force a union or force a relationship where there's no love there, it just turns bad. It turns into some 24-hour stuff. You know what I mean? It just turns bad. And I think that's where America is at. We keep trying to force this ideal of democracy and like justice and like equality, but it's just not there. And no matter what we try to get it just doesn't fit. It's like just trying to fit a round puzzle like into a square. And I think it might be time just to be like, hey, I'm just saying, because it's 2022 and we're still concerned with voting and who's going to do right and this and that. And some people are just like, even some people that's in office are just blatantly don't care. You know what I mean? They just say all types of sexist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, anti-black shit, and it's almost acceptable now. You know what I mean?
So we get rid of those people. We got to figure out how do you get rid of them.
Yeah, but those are the people that's winning local elections, county elections, and federal elections. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they saying this stuff, and they should not be up in that position, but there's a majority of Americans that see them as they speak for me, because I can't say that, but like they can say it. And that's what's scary. You know, for instance,
so let's divide the country in half. And you get to go there or you get to go there. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy to think that. Well, there are some people that are thinking that way, though. Isn't it Idaho that Western Idaho wants to separate from Eastern Idaho? And
was it Texas or was it another?
No, Texas, the whole state wants to.
Yeah, succeed or whatever. So it's just like, I mean, like it's in the air. You know, and I think it's, for instance, when in 2024, when the elections happen, the presidential elections happen and stuff like that, that's going to be a scary time for people. You know, because we don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
There's got to be somebody out there that is the right person to step up to the plate and swing the bat and lead us to, you know, the right place that will unite. And that's what's missing here. We don't have that person that knows how to unite the majority of I doubt whether you're ever going to do everybody, but to the majority of the American population, public, whatever. It's 50-50 now. It is so, and that's, I think, because of the way our political system has evolved and where it's come to.
Mm-hmm.
It is either you're there or you're there.
There's no in between.
Well, there is a big in between, isn't there? I think there's most opposing players have something to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that are on opposite sides of an issue, there's value in each person's thinking. There's a happy medium somewhere. There's the right thing to do.
Yeah, but I don't think they want that anymore. I think, for instance, people on a certain side, it's like almost all or nothing. It's almost like...
Well, see, then that's wrong. That all or nothing thinking is wrong.
It's wrong. It's like, if I can't run the country, ain't nobody can run the country. And so we will oppose everything this president does or governor does, because we can't run it, so like we're going to stop everything. When like Obama was elected, Mitch McConnell said, our whole goal as a Republican Party is to make him a one-term president. Here's a man that's trying to run a country, and your party.
Yeah, right. That's wrong.
Your party's whole goal is just to obstruct them. It's just like that mentality is like, I see more out here when I'm like watching the news and stuff. It's just like almost all or nothing, which is scary.
Yep.
So if you can have abortion rights, we'll take it from the whole, like the whole country. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well, that was one of the major issues in the midterm elections, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it might be time to have a separation or a divorce from America. I'm just saying, because shit does not look sweet, and we're going down a path that I don't think we're going to return from.
So, describe to me what that would look like. A divorce from America. What would that look like, Brandy?
I don't know about anybody else, but I think black people, we should stop voting Republican and stop voting Democrat and stop voting independents, and we should get our own country, our own land, and we should be there, and we should do for us, because nobody else is gonna do for us, and be an independent, sovereign nation. We should do that, because other people have done it before. Now, people are like, that's racist, you're separatist. No, because we have never been included in America or integrated in America, so like, why should we keep fronting and acting like this shit is working for us when it's definitely not? So those who want to start their own little land or whatever, then they should do that, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says something like, since black people work for free for almost 200 years, you owe us something. You know what I'm saying? So give us some land next to a seaport that's fertile land. We could grow our own stuff, start our own business infrastructure, and like we could trade with other nations and stuff like that. And then you can solve this problem. And those who want to stay, they can stay. But I think it's wrong for us to keep forcing this union, that this is a melting pot and everybody's gonna get along, because we're not gonna get along, and it's sad. And no matter how many organizations come together to try to work up on the issue, like one of the main issues will always be race, which is fucked up. But that's like one of the main issues will always be race, and even politics is driven by that. You know what I mean? So it's just sad. So it's just like, I don't know what the answer is, but I know what the answer is not. And like, the answer is not to keep acting like this shit is working. understand, Steve, because it just. All right, for instance, when January 6th, Trump went on Twitter and other people went on Twitter, and for 2 weeks they said we're gonna go to like the Capitol building and we're gonna do what the fuck we want to do. The FBI, the ATF, the CIA, the NSA, everybody knew what was about to happen. They marched in there, stormed the Capitol, and did whatever they want to do. Now, honestly, ask me, if a bunch of black people did the same thing, do you think they would even be alive? And you think, how would that optics look on that? You know, when black people had
That's a good question.
When black people had was it a Black Lives Matter rally there? The police showed up in tactical gear, standing in front of the Capitol. Guns as big as your grandma, clips and everything, for a peaceful rally. They knew Trump and his boys were going to do what they did. Nobody was called, not even the National Guard. So that's why I say, even when we're trying to get justice the right way, this country still says, fuck it. We will kill all you motherfuckers just to prove a point. You know? Imagine if all of those people at the Capitol were black. Imagine if all of those people were Latino. You know what I mean? And then after all of that happened, Republicans were like, no, we don't want an investigation. I mean, just like it is what it is. What? If a black congressman gets a holiday turkey from somebody, they're trying to investigate him or her. You know what I mean? So let's not pretend that this is working when we know it's not working. So we need a viable solution and a peaceful solution, because it's not working. America is not working anymore. America only works for the elite, those who are in power. That's who America works for. People like me and you, it works, but it really doesn't work. You know what I mean? The people in power who move us around like chess pieces and can tell leaders who they can talk to and can't talk to. That's who America works for. But the little man that's paying his rent every day that just got laid off. I'm in a store yesterday, right? And no, I was at FedEx, and this older white man said he's been laid off twice in a month. So he said, he was laid off twice in a month. Man, that's hard times. People dealing with some real shit out here. That's hard times. So for him, this is not working. You know what I mean? So I think it's time we hey, send y'all a postcard. I'll be back up on holidays, but something has to be done. Because in America now, you're either an eater or a non-eater. You're eating or you're going to get ate. So I don't know if that's correct, but even up in Aurora, you can see that they want a certain demographic to live there, because they're building all these condos and high-priced apartments and stuff down, downtown Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
The average income in Aurora, medium income, is $32,000 to $33,000 a year. The average family can't even afford to purchase a house and can barely pay rent, because rent up in the poor communities up in Aurora keeps rising. So they're pushing all of them out and bringing all these people in that don't live here, but they want them to live here because they want a certain demographic. So that's gentrification all up on another level. So 10 years from now, how will a rural look, and like how would that play out? You know what I mean? I mean, like it's just not working anymore.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to take care of the people that are already living there and up their quality of life and ability to earn an income and grow with the finances of the community.
I agree with everything you said, but that makes too much sense. So that's why they probably won't do it. You know what I mean? Like that makes too much sense, but it's right, but they won't do it because in Aurora and like a lot of other cities, they're so focused as economic development. And when you solely focus on economic development and not community building, you inadvertently bring about gentrification, and that's what's happening.
So I go back to the notion that we
What's up, Cindy?
need to find the right people to lead and to help make those changes.
You don't think it's too late?
No. Boy, I think when you...
Really?
Yeah. Brandy, I've never been a person to give up on something. I mean, I have run into situations when it was time to walk away from something and to, head in a different direction and try something different.
Mm-hmm.
But I never gave up on what the ultimate goal is, and the ultimate goal being happy. Living life and being happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like and maybe you're right, but I don't like the idea of everybody having separate countries and
I mean, but like
places to live. And
we're already segregated, though. We're already separated, Steve.
Yeah.
Look at Chicago and cities like that. Even Aurora. I mean, like we're already there.
Yeah,
We just ain't put like a
that's
name
a
on it
mix.
yet.
But that's a mix of by choice and by some design as well.
Mostly by
know.
design, Steve.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of choice. I saw it when I lived on the South Side. I saw that certain ethnic people wanted to live together. The Polish neighborhood, the Italian neighborhood, the Latin neighborhood, the black neighborhood. Right. They felt more comfortable living amongst. Right. But then I'm going to go, and you know this, I was raised an Army brat. I grew up on military bases where there was no segregation, where everybody shared the same apartments and complexes and schools and athletics and sports and recreation and all that. There was no segregation. And it seemed to work. Now, yeah, I was a young kid, and maybe I was oblivious to certain things. But man, it sure seemed to work to me.
I don't think it's working anymore, Steve. Oh.
Well, maybe everybody needs to be in the military.
Well,
24% of our population works for some
military
sort of government.
Okay.
And oddly enough, 24% of the world's fresh water is in the Great Lakes. None of those things relate to one another, but it is interesting that about a quarter of the people work for the government, and a quarter of the fresh water of the world is right here in the Great Lakes. My point in bringing up the 24%, 25% of people work for the government, a government of some sort, whether it be city, state, federal, whatever, it's kind of weird. 1 out of 4 people take care. It takes 1/4 of the population to handle
the government
workings stuff for all the rest. Doesn't seem right. We have a big investment in government jobs and personnel and bureaucracies and I don't know. You had any interaction with like the state of Illinois? I hope nobody out there is from the state of Illinois is listening to this, but and then again, I hope they are. But
I had interaction with some Congress people from like the state of Illinois.
I've had more interaction with financial and accounting ends of government. And over the course of the past 3 years, I have received no less than 24 notices from the federal government telling me that they have changed my address, my mailing address, to the same address that was on record the month before. What does that mean?
It means that it's ineffective.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. That's what I mean about we need to tear it down. We really do. We need to tear things down and rebuild it and build it right.
I think it's too late, Steve. I think we should.
Well, it's where maybe you and I would differ, and that's okay. I mean, it's where we're sitting here and we're talking about this. I don't want to believe that it's too late. I will acknowledge that you might be right. I'm not going to sit here and go, you're definitely wrong. I can't do that. You might be right.
I think it's too late for America to try to get its shit together. Like, I think that time has passed.
Boy, we better.
I gotta think that time has passed. I think.
Do you guys think the time has passed?
I think that time has passed. I think.
Cindy, Jean, do you think the time has passed?
I kind of think that time has passed. I think we had chances and opportunities, but it was all fluff. I kind of think that time has passed because you got to look at it. If you're a black person looking at America, great opportunities here. I could be, but look at all the shit I got to go through just to, you know what I mean? It's like it shouldn't be that way. And I'm not asking for a handout or anything like that. I'm just saying, look at all the shit that we had to go through just to ride up on a goddamn bus. In order to stand up in a bathroom and pee next to you, I got my head bashed in. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, why should I even have to go through all this?
You shouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
you shouldn't have had to go through that.
Is it getting better, or are we just repeating the same old cycle, just like with new players now?
Well, I think you need to ask that question of people that lived through the 30s and 40s and 60s and are living now. Is it better?
Well,
I don't know the answer to that.
My stepdad is named Frank, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes he has some unkind words to say about white people, right? He lived in the South, and he told me about he saw people being hung, like when he was a kid. And he said, I shouldn't even say this. He used to work with like he had a job, and his boss was white. The boss name, and it was a dog. So the boss was like, Frank is working, and so the boss says, the coach says, change is slow, unfortunately. And so like the guy says, come here, nigga. Frank turned around and he asked the boss, did you call me the N-word? He said, nah, I named my dog that. Now, this is a teenage boy living in the South, and the boss named the dog like the N-word. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why should we have to go through all that, and why should we have to continue to go through this and like act like this shit is working? For instance, we had a meeting with the Rural Police Department, the Rural Grassroots Alliance. So I'm sitting in there. So I asked the chief, his name is Keith Cross, I consider him a friend, even though we're on opposite sides of the fence now. And I said, if the police department would apologize for what they've done to the Black and Latino community for the past 25 years, I said that would go a long way in mending some fences and even bringing about some atonement. These motherfuckers won't even acknowledge that they've done anything wrong the past like 25 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, they won't even acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some stuff got out of hand and stuff like that, but they won't even go on record or publicly say you know what, we apologize for what some officers did, but we're better police department now, and like we're trying to make bridges within the community, and like we apologize. That would go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even acknowledge that, or even accept responsibility for for what they did. So how can we say that this is working? It's not working, you know. And what's so critical and fucked up about it is the only time that people's eyes comes open and they want to work is when some shit burns to the goddamn ground. Then they realize like this ain't a joke. But it's sad that it has to come to those extreme measures. You know what I mean? America had to burn for 2 whole weeks until they said, you know what, maybe we fucking up. Who wants to do that? Who wants to see their stores broken in and businesses vandalized and shit because, you know, like you killed the black dude? Who wants to go through that? And then like you talking to like the average white person is sick of hearing about racism and white supremacy. For instance, a dude that just lost his job twice in 1 month ain't trying to hear no shit about no white privilege or racism. You know what I'm saying? But then you got black people who had to burn this motherfucker for 2 weeks in order for somebody to say, you know what? Maybe there's something wrong with the police departments here up in America. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, this shit's not working, Steve. And it's sad that it has to combust to something ugly to people say it's not working. Even in downtown Aurora, when that sparked off and like they broke glasses and robbed stores, and I don't know what that was. Bunch of fuckery, right? And then the next day up on the news, people talking. I heard I think her name is Marissa Amoni, the thing downtown. They're talking on the news. Oh, you know, like we understand, and you know, like we want to listen. 2 days later, police department like, we don't give a fuck. You know, like we're arresting everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, they don't want to listen. You know what I mean? So it's just like we keep pretending that this is working in America. It's not working in America. Like it's not working in the States. It's not working up in the small cities. It's not working until something happens. And in 2014,
well, then it doesn't even work.
Yeah, and in 2014 and 17, I told the police department, I said, Aurora is a powder keg, and the fuse is already lit because you guys do not listen. You know what I'm saying? No, he's radical. He's this. I just see shit for what it. Remember that conversation like we had here, and I said, Steve, my biggest fear is something's gonna happen, and like they're gonna burn Aurora to the ground.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Goddamn, 3 months later, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the smartest dude, but it's like, this isn't working. And it's like the people that could make change, that like have power and stuff, like at the top.
They're in the position, right?
They don't want to. It's just like, they won't even talk to you up on a level where like they can make change. They'll talk to you, then leave, and then do some other shit. But like, it's not real talk at the grassroots level about how we can make change. These people come get photo ops. They want you to vote for them. They visit a black church. I'm going to vote for you. And you know what I'm saying? Because I hate when white politicians come to black churches and then tell us about what they're going to do and like the promises like they're going to make and they don't ever do them. Black politicians, like they, like they do the same shit. They go to white churches, the promises they're going to make, and then they never do it. And then... and
so
then
it's not so much the color of the skin; it's the position that.
But
it's politicians.
It's politicians, but I also, but with the black church, it's like I always say, you should not invite a white politician in your church unless you sit down with them first and say, what is your agenda? You know, like, what is your game plan? What tangible benefits are you going to bring to the black community? because you come here every 2 years or 4 years and beg for votes. And then when you get in office, we give you the vote, you get in office, and then we have no access to you. I believe that's a pimp system. You know what I'm saying? You come here and say what you're going to do. I get your vote, I leave, and I never talk to you. But when white politicians come to a black church, you know, like they speak about racism, inclusion, diversity, equality. But when they go to a white church, you know, they speak a whole different language. They speak how I'm going to protect you from them niggas over there. You know what I'm saying? Which is fucked up. White politicians, you know, like they don't give the same speech up in a black church that like they give up in a white church, because they won't go to the white church talking about racism, white privilege, or white supremacy. You know what I mean? So like this shit is not working on any level. So I'm buying a boat, Steve, and I'm going to like the Philippines, and I suggest you come with me. I'm getting a wife that speaks no English and just knows how to say yes.
Yeah, I've thought about where to move to. I haven't found that place yet.
And then like the thing is, America is a beautiful country, but it's just like those people, the people who are in power, man, it's just like they don't give a fuck about the average man no more. You know what I mean? And like I think that's what's it. It's like they don't care about the average person.
Oh, yeah. Like I said,
it's just all about
messed up.
It's just all about keeping power. For instance,
tear it down.
Ron, what's his name? DeSantis, the governor of Florida.
Yeah.
So some immigrants came. Is the governor of Florida or the governor of Texas?
Well, it's both of them. They both were doing that, right? It started in Texas. I think. Yeah. And but I think the guy in Florida did it as well.
No. So immigrants come to your state. You load them on planes and send them across the country and say, fuck it?
That's messed up.
Man, that's like, who does that?
But you know what? I come to find out, and I didn't know this, that, what do they call it? There are certain states and certain cities that are...
sanctuary.
Yeah, open arm to immigration. And they're on record officially as being that. So it's kind of interesting. Did they do something that was proper and legal? I don't know.
Some people say
the way it happened was wrong.
Some people say it wasn't legal, but it's like he's a governor. You know, like what you gonna do to him? You know, but it's like
get rid of him.
But even if your state,
if it's wrong.
But even if your state is not a sanctuary state, just don't pack people on planes. Just send them.
No, of course not.
Man, that's crazy as hell to me. You know what I mean?
There should have been discussions, communication, a plan. There should have been a plan.
Something.
If you're going to let people in like that, you got to have a plan to deal with it.
And like
that needs to be agreed upon by the state that's accepting them, and then the state that's going to allow them to come to their state and settle. And I don't know. There's got to be a plan.
It has to be a plan, and like the immigration policy can't be you let everybody in, but you don't have a plan for these people
no, it can't be.
Of programs that they need and stuff that they need. It's like you let people in and just hold them in fucking cages and cells for months and months and months and months. Then why did you let them in up in the first place? You know what I mean? It's like it has to be some type of better organization. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, I saw pictures of you.
For everything that we do, there needs to be a plan. Everything.
Yeah. Because I saw this video and you got kids in fucking cages, man. Just sitting there, just chilling all day up in the goddamn cage like an animal. That shit's not right.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? But you let them in the country, but like you don't have a plan for them. So they just sit there, which is worse. You know what I'm saying?
So why were they let in the country in the first place if they didn't have a plan?
Well, when you seek asylum, you're allowed to come. But
if you don't have a plan, to handle those people coming in for asylum, if you don't have a proper plan in place.
I think after all of this time, to me, it feels like it's done on purpose. Because after all of these years of dealing with immigration, America should have some proper protocol and plan. And you coming here and get you here, your relatives are here, something. But now it's just like you just come and sit in a cage.
See, but I think there is proper protocol.
But it's too slow. And then, like you got kids.
But there is protocol. And I think that protocol is
broken.
It's broken. It's getting ignored, changed, adjusted, whatever.
Because anytime like you got kids who are going to court, like they got kids going to court to like defend themselves about immigration. Some of these kids don't even speak English, but like they send them before a judge. What sense does that make, Steve? You know what I mean?
Right. It doesn't.
Like this shit is broken. You know what I'm
make
saying?
sense.
So it's like even when the president or governors talk about immigration, they talk about immigration like we're gonna let these men in, but I never hear a proper plan or protocol or like a goddamn flow chart to actually help people. You know what I mean? Man, when
talk is cheap, yeah.
And I don't know if they're still doing this or not, but parents were coming in with their children. They were separating the children from like the parents. I read in this one article, damn near 1,000 kids got lost up in the system. They don't even know like where the fuck these kids are at. So the parent is in Texas, the kid is up in Buffalo, New York somewhere. Like who does that? Like who does that?
Incompetent people.
So it's just like the shit's not working no more, man. So like you can't have immigration without proper protocol and without proper programs. And honestly, I don't think you can have it without help from the local grassroots organizations, because those are very vital. But once the government starts controlling shit, it's just...
Didn't that happen when the people came to Chicago? Didn't the local grassroots organization get involved and find places for the people to stay, and were taking care of them, providing them with food, shelter, clothing?
Yeah.
I think. And that's why Chicago is, what do you call it, one of those sanctuary cities, because they have the infrastructure here. Where the breakdown was in the communication between
the state,
the Texas, the state of Texas and the state of Illinois. There was a breakdown there, and it was more for sure on the side of Texas, right? I mean, they needed to communicate and say, hey, how do we handle this? And the federal government probably should have got involved in that too. It's not just a state issue.
True.
It's a countrywide issue. So I don't know enough about everything that happened, but it sure seemed like you're right. It wasn't working. It was broken.
Microphones get fractured. Dalai Lama, Ramadan, Black Nat.
Who's Mrs. Dockery?
Oh, she has a non-for-profit that deals with feeding the homeless and helping people out like that.
Oh,
that's what I called.
Oh, that's who you called. Yeah, for that situation.
So yeah, I don't know.
Brandy, I don't want to give up.
I ain't giving up. I'm just looking at it in a different
light.
Well,
it's a different perspective for sure.
I don't know I'm giving up, but it's just like, man, this boat is sinking and we can't act like it's not sinking no more. You know what I mean? Water's up to here, Steve. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Philippines, huh?
Philippines.
Never been there.
Me neither. I work with a nurse. She's Filipino, so I was was showing her some on like resorts, so like she was telling me like the good ones.
Microphones get fractured. Dalai Lama, Ramadan.
Not like I can't afford to go to one of those resorts, but I'm just saying. So like she was pointing them out and stuff. But yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Military.
What country is that? Is it Japan or China where you have to join the military for 2 years or 3 years?
There's
or something?
lots of countries. Israel being one, I think, and
Great Britain too, right?
Austria, for example. Everybody has to, or at one time they were like that. Yeah, there's countries where it's mandatory
That you do like 2 years or something, or 4 years.
do 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. But
What you feel about that?
having been an Army brat, I think it's probably not a bad idea. And the reason I say that is it's not only from my own personal experience, but here at the store, I have an opportunity frequently to run into people who are in the military, and they might be coming home to visit family and whatnot, or people that were in the military and are recently have gotten out and have a civilian job and whatnot. But I run into military people here often. And there's something pretty interesting and unique about somebody who has served in the military. And I don't want to sit there and generalize, but there's a way that the person carries themselves and something different, like a little bit of a more worldly view of things, a little bit more of a all together in the boat together kind of. When we have conversations, I can sense that. It's real interesting. See, in the military, you go through boot camp, right? And when you go through boot camp, you're all kind of together and working towards, and sometimes fighting towards a common goal and cause. But you're all together, no matter who you are, what your background is, you're working together. And that does something to your constitution and to your thinking. I think there's a benefit to that. Does it work in 100% of the cases? Of course not, but it sure seems like it has a positive impact on people, what I have seen. So, to answer your question, I would be for that. I see a maturity that happens with people that go into the military that quicker than if they don't.
So you're saying that we should all be socialists? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
No. I'm not a person who leans towards socialism. Again, that test you take that determines where you are. Down below the X, the center. I'm down and to the left, but not seriously toward the left.
Medium?
Yeah, kind of medium. Okay, call it that 100%. I'm probably in that 30% to the left. So I don't know what that is, but it's not.
So you're militant? I'm joking.
Well, Army brat, yeah, no.
No, I'm joking.
I marched and protested and got ticketed and arrested. And is that militant? I don't know. I didn't destroy or destruct or do any of that kind of thing. But I marched. I think that's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah, speak up.
got to speak up.
All right. I guess that's it. We're going to close this down, people. This will be on Facebook. This will be on
YouTube.
I keep forgetting the name for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's from COVID or what. This will be on YouTube in about 2 days, so you can check out what we're doing. Even though we call it a podcast, it's not really a podcast. It's like a video cast. So we want to thank y'all for watching and tuning in. And if you have some subjects, just let us know, and we'll be back here in
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Well, it's...
Oh, no.
Well,
that's
I don't
Thanksgiving.
know.
That's
But it's that weekend, yeah. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving, right?
What you want to do? Or you want to play it by ear?
Let's play it by ear.
All right, so we might be back in 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. And we do have a live studio audience here. I mean, nobody's here now, but you're welcome to come, and you can even be a part of the show. All right. Peace.
Peace.